Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of making a glitch hop beat in Bitwig Studio. If you missed the first part of the tutorial, go onto my channel, watch the first video so that you're up to where we are. If you have watched the first video, well, good on ya. So I watched the first video and then I went to make the second video just now, and I don't know how and I don't know why, but I went through my Bitwig Studio, went through my file folder to open it, and turns out I didn't save the project file. So I don't have the same drum beat that I made in the first one, but what I did do is I followed the same steps again and I made a second one. So if we're going to turn my stupidity into a positive, then I guess it's a good way to showcase how you can follow that tutorial to make any kind of beat you want to make. And it doesn't all have to sound like that, obviously, but some people need to see it themselves or whatever. So I use a different kit, but I still use just a kit that came with Bitwig. I think it was a glitch kit or something like that. But this is what the loop sounds like now. Cool. All right, so we're going to make the bass line with a little bit of movement. So what I'm going to show you is I'm basically just going to layer basic bass sound with a sub and then use a low pass filter on it to make it sound wobbly and whatever. So I'm not going to do anything too detailed. I mean, obviously it's just a guideline of how to do it. The creative stuff is up to you and up to me when I'm not being filmed and I've got all the time in the world. So I'm going to, I'll show you something first. So what I did with this drum beat is obviously there's our files from before. So that's the kit and then the bounce and then whatever. We actually didn't use the pattern mode, we used this. So kit, the bounce, then the percussion, whatever. I think it's the same one that we used in the last one. And then the bounce and the little glitchy bits of that. And then I just highlighted them all. So I held down shift, I clicked the last one, see it highlighted them all. I pressed Control G, or I think you can right click and do a similar thing, group. Then I grouped it into this and I've just named it tutorial 1. So there's that. So we can move on from that and go to tutorial 2 now. And we're all good. We'll group this one at the end and then there'll be that all sort of sectioned away. So first I'm going to just get a sub bass. So I'm just going to click on the presets bit here. I'm going to type sub up in this bit. And then here's all your sub presets. So there's like sub only, that sounds cool. One that I like is sub love sign. It sounds like this, but not making a sound. Hang on a second. Oh, there you go, it's not armed. Arm the track and then it'll make a sound. Just get some stuff. There we go. Alright, so it's quite fat. What we'll do is put an EQ next to it. So all I'm doing is like I'm clicking the plus and then obviously there's all your devices or your plugins or whatever. I just go to search, so EQ, and it just narrows it down a bit so you don't have to click through shit to find it. So there's the EQ, go to the 5 bit there, low pass, which is just going to cut out all the high end. So move that down to about 100 hertz. So you're just getting 100 and whatever, 200 hertz or something like that, and below. There you go, 200 hertz and below with a bit of a curve, and it sounds like just cuts out all that high end bullshit that you don't want with a sub. So then we'll hold down control on the EQ, so they're both highlighted now. Control G, and we're grouping that within the track. So then we'll press the plus to add another one, and this time we'll just add a polysynth. And we'll solo it so you're not hearing the sub, and it sounds like this. It's pretty basic, but it's the exact sound we are after. What I did there is I just moved the filter up, so that's this one here. So it goes. See? So I just move it all the way up so that we get a lot of room all the frequencies to play with. So take that off. Oh no, actually, what we'll do is keep it solid. I should have done the proper way in Bitwig. I mean, you can either put your FX plugins just next to them, or you can actually press this FX bucket thing here and add them to inside the synth. See this one, because it's a preset, it's already got some as part of the preset, which you can move these, and I'm guessing it does stuff with that, but I'm not interested in that at the moment. But if you put stuff in the actual effects bit of the actual synth, then that means with any of the macros here or here, these modulators that Bitwig has, you can then like assign any bit of modulation. I don't know what this is doing, but you can just assign it to part of now this effect plugin. Whereas if it's outside of the actual instrument, then you can't modulate it at all using anything from the instrument unless you did it from this here, in which case you can do it to anything that's in there, in which case it is. Might sound confusing, but once you do a bit of Bitwig, you'll start to get your head around it. So what we'll do is we'll actually put it in the effects bit to this, because there's no other things in there, and it just makes everything a bit neater. So EQ, boom. We did the other one from like 200 hertz, so we'll just do this from about 100. Take the solo off, and it sounds like this. Now we'll just might take the release down so it doesn't have a tail after it. All right, with the filter. Now we can either use the filter like that, where the sub stays as it is, or what I'll like to do is add a filter to this sub here, and then I'll open up a macro here from the instrument. I just add in a macro knob, so just this, because then I can assign this here. So this knob, when moving, first we'll just set that to default. No, we won't. We'll move it all the way down. We'll set this bit here to default. Move that down. That is like the gain, so that's the volume of the signal as it comes in. And by default, for some reason, or by default, it's turned down on the filter, because by default the resonance is turned up, which just boosts the frequencies in the end section of the filter. Set that back to default. Turn that all the way down, so it's just all balanced, but it's all the way down. So that's now down, which is your cutoff. This is down, which is your macro. So press this button, because then you can assign what that knob controls. Put that all the way up, so then as you see that, now this controls that. Okay, so now go into your polysynth, and your cutoff is there for the frequency of the built-in filter that comes in that instrument. Turn that all the way down, so it's the same as that knob there. Click the assign thing. Now turn that all the way up. Now just double click that, shut it, and now this little macro here controls the cutoff on both of them. So now it sounds like a bit more together, huh? All right, so let's just punch in some kind of beat. So maybe we'll start with. We'll turn the macro up. Tell you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to map it to. Oh, I don't have my controller plug in. Forget that. We'll just turn it all the way up, and then where are we? Here we are. We'll just say just like that for argument's sake, and then we will play with the cutoff. So I've just clicked this button here, which brings up your automation, and then because the last little knob thing that I clicked on was this macro here, so it's automatically loaded up. So if I click on the volume of this, it's changed it. to the volume. So I'll click back on that so that we've got the automation from the macro we created, and then we'll start playing with the actual automation. You can hold down Alt, and then you can curve it. This makes it sound, I don't know, a little wompier. All right, so now it sounds like this. Yeah. Okay, I got a bit lazy there with the with the second half of that, but it does pretty clearly demonstrate how to do this and how to make this bass line with a bit of movement. So got that, duplicated it twice, and now loop sounds like that. What we'll do is we will maybe take the poly synth, grab the equalizer, click it so it's highlighted, Control G, grouped it. So hold it down and hold down Control, drag it so it creates a duplicate, and then take the 5 there, click on low pass, move it down to just under 1K, so about there. Then take this and move the 1 there to just under 1K, so about there. And then take, press the plus thing there next to the high bit of it. Click on, or type in tool, click on tool. Then click on tool, hold down control, control G, grouped it. Now hold on tool, hold down control, drag it down, and so you're creating a duplicate of it there. Then move the pan bit of 1 to the left, move the pan bit of the other to the right, press the plus, type in delay, press delay 1. What we're doing here is we're widening the bass sound, or we're seeing what it sounds like widened anyway. Whether we actually keep it widened depends on what it sounds like, I suppose. But take the mix, so that's what's sending in the wet and dry signal. So put it all the way to wet, so we don't hear any of the original sound, just what's coming through. So this is only, because we've got the pan set all the way to the 100%, which is all the way to the right. So this one's playing only to the left, this one's playing the straight signal. This one is playing only to the right. This one's playing the delayed signal with no feedback. So high cut all the way up, low cut all the way down, so there's none of that. Feedback down, so it only repeats once, so then it does the 1 delay. So we're not getting the original signal, and we're getting 1 repeat of it. So we're just getting a slightly delayed signal to the right-hand side. So I'm turning this, so I've clicked, automatically it goes by beat. We don't want that, so we're clicking this little note thing here, and then we're dragging it all the way down to 10 milliseconds. So one side's playing 10 milliseconds slower than the other side. So this is what it sounds like straight up. That's what it sounds like widened. So I don't know if I like that. I don't really like that much. What I might do is take it, I'm just going to collapse it so it's easy to move, and put it on the lower section. Yeah. That's better. That's much better. I might move the low end down a little bit too. Alright, so then I shall, maybe I'll put like a chorus. I don't even know what these knobs are doing, I'm just playing with them. Cool. Now what I'll do, collapse that, click on the little FX box, just do a little bit of EQ on the overall signal with both the subs playing together. Now, I'm just going to be adjusting this to what my ears think sounds nice at this particular moment in time. You don't have to copy the frequencies and stuff that I'm doing here. Just do whatever sounds good. Firstly, I'm going to just try cutting some sub. Not much. Just like that. I'll take a little bit of the muddiness out. Just a tiny bit of sub. I'm going to cut some high end. Actually, I might move this to this top one because it's not as sharp a cut. Cool. Now I might just have a bit of a dip in the middle. So that's number 3 I've moved. So the Q here, it just changes the thickness of the dip. So I will just have a little one. whatever to it, really. Maybe try adding some reverberation. Cool. Now maybe what we'll do is maybe chuck on some transient control. And then, so what the transient control is going to do is like give it a bit of it's kind of like side chain, but it's not like big side chain. There's other ways to get that, which I'll show in like a later video, but it's just a duck of the bass whenever whatever you select comes in. So what I'm going to select to come in is the kick fat piercing, I suppose. Yeah, so that's the kick. So for the sustain, if I turn the gain down, no, that's not right. Control Z, get that back up there. I can see attack. There we go. Turn the attack down, and it's going to duck the signal of this bass whenever the kick happens. So time up just lengthens the amount of time it's ducked, obviously. There's another way to do this with the dynamics plugin, but it's a much longer duck. This is like basically just the time that the kick's there, so you can hardly even tell it's there, but it clears up the mix a bit because the kick and the bass are never playing at the same time. Let's try to maybe just turn it up a little. No. What I like to do, a good thing to do is when you've made a bass or you've made anything, you get a synth or whatever, and you need to put it at the right volume, turn it all the way down, and then play whatever else is playing in the track, and then just bring it up until it's at the right spot. So that's part two. I hope your bass sounds cool or better than this one. I might tweak this a little bit as well. And then next tutorial, we'll all have come back with something that's cool, and we'll work on adding another layer to this loop. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for the next one. Watch the other video if you're watching this as I'm uploading this, because I've only done one other video. If you're watching this sometime in the future, then watch all my videos. I hope there's more. Cool. Peace out. Bye.